adult faces. So meaning, females, when they apply facial makeup every morning, they transform their face from their own face to somebody else's face. It's a kind of in Japanese, we call facial makeup bakeru, which literally means to be transformed to. It's a kind of a transfiguration, and I don't know what it is in Chinese, but should be something similar. So I think this has a lot to tell about the difference between men and women. Men, they don't admit that they're looking at mirrors. I mean, I don't know if it's the same here or in Australia or in Europe, but in Japan, when you go to a men's toilet, you certainly look at the mirror. But you should never quote doing that. You shouldn't be appearing. You should not appear to be caring about your looks. That's a kind of a mode of conduct for men. But females, they accept the fact that they are evaluated by other people by their looks. Like this very famous incident of Susan Boyle. Has established, if you look at the Wikipedia for Susan Boyle, you know Susan Boyle, this British singer, and there are many interesting social remarks about how females are always aware that they are judged by their looks. So in the sense, the females are more socially constructed, and the level of consciousness, I think, in terms of social connections is higher in female subjects. We men are just ignorant. Anyway, but this is very interesting research, I think. But we have one logical flaw, meaning when you put subjects in fMRI, because of the magnetically active materials in the cosmetic materials, you cannot you cannot put the subject in fMRI with makeup, with facial makeup. So that means, logically speaking, this previous result might have been depending on the observer's facial condition, because the subjects were without makeup, so the fact that the subjects perceived the face without makeup as my face might have been dependent on the fact that the subjects were put in the fMRI without makeup. So we would very much like to put the subject in the fMRI with makeup. So we are developing special cosmetic materials with less magnetically active ingredients in collaboration with Kanebo, and the results are coming in. And this is very preliminary. When we finish that, we will publish the paper. But this is very preliminary, but it appears that it doesn't really make any difference whether you put in the fMRI with makeup or without makeup. So, well, let's see what happens. So I've been talking about social construction of the cell from the point of view of facial makeup, and this is a very famous picture of painting by George Dulatour of the repenting Maria of Magdala. I'm not a Christian, so I don't. Anyway, this very famous historical female person. And mirrors are fascinating, and it's I think if we take mirrors seriously, I think that might take us to some vantage point. For example, I really admire Stuart Hameroff's endeavors to reach consciousness and quantum mechanics. I'm a physicist myself, so I really admire these endeavors. But on the other hand, we are lacking something that bridges that makes us able to scale up from these very small microtube level arguments to this kind of social behavior, social cognition. And we need that, missing link in order to really construct a theory of consciousness. And I think this concept is very important. I don't have time really to, although my title was Contingent Brain, I don't really have time to tell you a lot about this thing. But I believe that the concept of contingency is very important. Contingency is, as you know, an event that may, but it's not certain to occur. Also, it's something liable to happen as adjunct to or as a result of something else. But so it's a mixture of regularity and irregularity. And as you know, evolution has been a lot of, has been seen a lot of instances of continuity. So for example, the fact that we have 5 fingers cannot be purely determined by absolute law. It is a contingent thing. We could have had 6 fingers or 4 fingers. Of course, we couldn't have had a million fingers. That would be impractical. But the fact that we have just 5 fingers cannot be explained in terms of absolute laws alone. So I suspect that some features of consciousness can be only understood in terms of this mixture of regularity and irregularity. Of course, this uncertainty thing, how we perceive uncertainties and incorporate it into a cognitive process has been very much, taking people's attention, like in the field of neuroeconomics. Actually, we are doing this kind of research in your lab too. Anyway, so to finish off, I would say that, looking at consciousness studies in general, like my presentation in the former, in the first half of my presentation, it has been too much based on a kind of a crystallized kind of argument, like, how we can deal with non-linearity from the point of non-linearity, non-locality from the point of quantum mechanics and so on. And it's very interesting, but on the other hand, we left wondering what this kind of argument has to do at all with social cognition, for example. And on the other hand, socially oriented arguments about brain's cognition, it tends to be kind of a common sense. It's not really great, is it? I mean, it's I don't know how to say it. It's certainly interesting. For example, altruism, empathy. That's wonderful. How collaboration evolves. That's wonderful, and it's tractable. But certainly, it doesn't strike us as a great theory. It's something conventional. So we really need something that bridges, these microscopic and very crystallized arguments about consciousness and these very soft-oriented, softly done, so to speak, conventional arguments about social cognition. So I believe that contingency is a very important concept because it is somewhere between regularity and randomness, and that's where our cognitive processes reside. And well, let's stop that. And this is the final slide. And I think Korea is actually a bridge between perceptual stability and dynamical adaptability. Of course, we would like to adapt to the environment in a very dynamical way. But on the other hand, we like to have perceptual stability. For example, if you have a dynamical systems approach, you can have lots of dynamical adaptability, but you don't have perceptual stability. You cannot have, for example, the alphabet, so to speak, of cognition. So, on the other hand, people have these symbolic approaches, like conventional algorithm in a computer. That's perceptually very stable, because an A is going to always stay A. There's no change. But these systems do not adapt to the environment in a very dynamical way. So these two requirements, dynamical adaptivity and perceptual stability, they seem to be kind of contradictory. So I believe that that one of the most important aims of brain science is to understand how we perceive contingency, meaning how to irregular, how to random processes in a robust way. And I think in order to understand that, we really need to tackle the hard problem of Korea. So thank you very much.